Hello, welcome to the art classroom. Today we're going to paint an ocean painting from a photograph that I took. The colors that you're going to use today are titanium white, raw umber, phthalo blue, dioxazine purple, cobalt turquoise, and ivory black. We're beginning by mixing your titanium white with your cobalt turquoise color. You don't want to use very much turquoise for this. We want that background sky color to be very, very light. And when you do it, you want to add a little more turquoise towards the top and a little more white towards the bottom of the sky so that you get a nice gradual change from a darker turquoise color to a lighter turquoise color in the middle. I'm using oil paints, so they stay wet the entire time that I'm painting. But if you're using acrylics, they may start to dry. So you're going to want to get some type of an extender to add into your paint, and that will stop it from drying too quickly. I paint quite fast, so if you follow along and you need to pause your tape, please just pause and catch up with me. I'm just blending that color from the darker at the top, and I'm going to blend it down and add more of the lighter turquoise color to the bottom. So it's lighter towards the bottom and darker towards the top. If I get too much in my brush, I just blend it in through the painting. And get a nice smooth surface to start with. The next color that I'm going to paint is a darker blue-violet color. So I'm going to be mixing my raw umber, and I usually mix raw umber to darken a color instead of black. It just makes your colors a little more rich. So don't think that you need or feel that you need to use black when you're darkening a color. So for this next color, I'm going to mix my raw umber with some dioxazine purple and some white. And then for the top of that, I'm just adding a little phthalo blue to the color that I made to darken it a little bit more for that cloud color. In this painting, the background looks as though it's raining, and you'll see that we're going to pull that color straight down in just a minute. So the clouds for this are going to be that darker blue-violet color. To dull the color, make sure you're using that raw umber, not necessarily the black. So I'm going to use this mixture with my phthalo blue, a little bit of my purple, your raw umber and white, and I'm going to start filling in all of my clouds that are going through the top. You'll see that sometimes I'm adding smaller clouds in that I've lightened up a little bit more with the white. I'm following my picture that I took and just filling in those colors in the right shapes as I go. Again, if you need to pause as you're painting, pause the video and then come back. Clouds come in lots of different shapes, so if yours don't look exactly like mine, that's absolutely okay. Remember that we don't want the painting to look exactly like a photograph. That's what a painting is. It has some brush strokes, it has texture. It's okay if it does not look perfect. In this painting, the darker clouds are towards the top, so we're going to add that dark color, that dark blue-violet color to the top, kind of like a heavy blanket of clouds across the sky. I apologize for my hand getting in the way. I'll try to do better on my next videos. When you need to feather out a cloud into the background color, you can use just a soft brush. It can be a fan brush, but it doesn't have to be a fan brush. In this video, I used a fan brush for that small part, but you certainly just need a soft bristle brush and very lightly touch the paint. I'm going to use a soft brush a number of times to soften my clouds. And you'll see that towards the end of the sky. Again, I'm just filling in that darker color in the top, adding a nice blanket of dark clouds. If you feel like you need to add a little more of your lighter color, just mix your white and your turquoise over again like I just did. I just wanted that, I felt that cloud went a little too low and I wanted to fill in the sky a little over again. So I just mixed that color and blended in. Again, this is very easy to do with oil paints. It's a little harder if your acrylic paints are beginning to dry. Another way to stop your acrylic paints from drying too quickly is to, once in a while, spritz your painting just a little bit with water. Not too much because you don't want the paint to come off, but if you just spritz the painting a little bit with water, it will help it to stay wet a little longer. When I use acrylic paints, I also spritz my paints with water so they don't dry as I'm working. But you don't have to worry about that with acrylic, with oils. Now this is a good beginning. I'm going to continue on and add a little more detail into my clouds and my sky. I'm going to add in my lighter areas. And then I'm going to also darken the top section to make the contrast a little higher. This color I'm using for the very light areas is more of a pink, kind of a color made from a white and your purple. Might have a little bit of blue in it, but it's more of a light, very light purple color. Lightening up some of those areas brings a little bit of a contrast. Now remember, towards the bottom, this painting looks as though it may be raining in the distance. So I'm taking my brush, a square brush, and I'm just pulling down the paint so it looks like there's rain. Just take that square brush and pull straight down. I've added a little more of that light color made from the white and purple. This is not complete, straightforward white that I'm adding in here. This is video 1 for this ocean painting. We'll start the second video soon, and it will begin the water at the bottom, the ocean. For this painting, I used a square brush, about a 1/2 inch square brush. And then just some soft brushes to feather in the clouds. I'm just touching up and adding some final highlights into my sky. And I'll darken that top cloud just to create a little more contrast at the very top of my painting. Again, as I work, all my colors are blending because the paint is still wet in the background. If you use oils, you're going to want to keep your color palette right out, because when we start the bottom part, the second video, we're going to use the same color palette to paint the ocean. And again, when you find the spot where you like your sky and you think that it looks good, just stop. You don't have to overdo it. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. When you feel like your sky looks good, stop, feather it with your soft brush, and call it good. I'm just using a soft brush and I'm feathering in those clouds a little bit. When you do this, wipe your brush often because you don't want to accidentally put a dark color where you don't want it. So you feather a little bit, very softly, just lightly touching the top of your cloud, and then wipe your brush. Every time I take my hand away from the painting, I'm wiping that brush off so that when I feather it, I'm feathering the color lightly, but not adding more color somewhere else. Now finally, I am going to add just a little bit of white to that bottom section where it looks as though it is raining. And I'm going to take that square brush and just pull that white straight down. It will blend into my colors because they are still wet. If you're using acrylic, you may want to make that lighter purple color and use that instead. And just pull that down so it looks like it's raining. Beautiful. We're almost to the end of this first video for the ocean painting. Please like and subscribe and join in with video 2. Keep those colors out that you have in your palette, and we'll finish up the ocean. I hope you like this video. Have a great day.